You know what? I made jokes about this over the offseason about how long would it take for this delicate fan base to jump ship. And I underestimated this fan base, Max. I thought it would take at least 10 games. That was kind of my benchmark. We're 7 games in, and fans are already like, leave Barry Trotz and leave Andrew Burnett on the next road trip. Wherever we go, leave them there.
Right.
I don't know. I don't even know what else to say.
It's not going to be for a while because we have a homestand coming up.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. This is episode 281 of Catfish on Ice with Chad Minton and Max Greenberg, your host, bringing you this live episode. Wanted to get you a live episode because they're always the most fun. And it's the day after probably the worst showing of the Predators' young season.
Easily.
But at the Ducks, you see the score there on the bottom of the screen for the YouTube viewers, 5-2 to the Ducks. And I'm just going to be honest right now, Max. I don't even think that final score is fair to the Anaheim Ducks. I actually think that they could have maybe even made that final score look even worse. I'm just being honest right now.
I thought the first like the first half of the game, like the first 30 minutes, like first period and a half, were fairly even. After that, though, I mean, we had nothing.
Well, as we know, hockey is a game of sequences, and things can change quickly. And the way this game opened was very much back and forth. We're going to give a quick game reaction to that tonight in the opening face-off segment. But also, I really want to talk about Steven Stamkos because he's going down the Matt Duchene pathway very quickly. And the comparison I mean by that, maybe we can even go all the way back to Kyle Turris, but you get where I'm coming from here. Yeah. He is entering that territory if he's not already there. I interact with a lot of fans on social media. I'm not saying all of them know what they're talking about, but some of them do. At least some of them know what they're talking about, and they are out on Steven Stamkos. I'm not saying it's fair or foul, but we got to talk about it because if you're being objective, the optics do not look good right now. His interview excerpt that Emma Lingen shared, who writes for Hockey Writer, covers the Predators very extensively. She shared an excerpt of that interview. They got a lot of eyeballs, got a lot of people talking. That was before the Ducks game. Yeah. And me being foolish, I was like, okay, that just means that he's going to break out tonight. He's going to score a power play goal. I wrote on Pred Lines before the game that this was a very important early season game for the Preds psyche. It's the first game of a homestand after spending 4 games on what I called a very, even going into the season, I saw that 4-game road trip in Canada, and I thought that's trouble. That's trouble. And you come back home, you face a Ducks team who I think is very beatable, but they proved me wrong last night. I will say that because they looked good. But anyone can maybe look good against this Preds team right now. I don't know. I don't know if I want to go that far, but definitely last night it was humbling for me because I thought the Predators had a good chance to win that game to start a homestand. And it was 2-2 at one point when Forsberg scored his goal.
I wrote an article and he scored a goal. So good for him there.
Well, I need you to write a Preds article on Forsberg every day from here on out, Max. Right. Can you handle that? Can you handle that workload?
If he can score a goal every time, then I guess I might have to.
You might have to. You might have to take on that task for the entire fan base right now. At this point, I think they're asking the Zamboni driver and the hot dog stand guy to chip in and score some goals right now because it's that bad. But we got to talk about that. Brady Martin is going back to the junior hockey, to the OHL, to the Greyhounds, and a little earlier than maybe we thought because we kept hearing that 9-game threshold. That was what the number that was stuck in everyone's head, and they thought, well, okay, he'll get those games, and then they'll send him back. But he sat out the entire road trip.
Yep. On a night, might I add, when the Preds were forced, they didn't have Jonathan Marchessault. They literally went with 7 defensemen, 11 forwards, and not playing Brady Martin. Which that was the telling moment for me, where I'm like, okay, why is he? I mean, not to be mean, but like that's my point. Was like, why was he here through this?
Very good point you bring up there. Yeah, that was very crazy to see that when you saw the opening line rushes going into that game against Winnipeg with Marchessault being out. He also missed the game last night against Anaheim. And yeah, Brady Martin did play in this game, but again, got similar ice time, very low impact. He did finally get a couple shots on goal. He didn't have any shots on goal or even any shots attempted in his first 2 games. And by no means, we'll save it for that segment, but by no means are we really coming down hard on Brady Martin right now. I mean, the kid's 18 years old.
It was good that he was even in the situation to begin with.
Yeah. So we will get into that a little bit more deeply. Was it the right decision to start him right out of the gate? I was a big proponent of give the guy a chance, put him in there. I'm all about it. What do you have to lose? Am I going to have to eat my words a little bit? We'll see. I'll save my opinion on that for that segment. So stay tuned for that. And we'll look a quick up ahead schedule for the rest of the homestand. And we want to talk a little bit about the blame game that keeps going on here. Andrew Brunette, Barry Trotz, the 2 Stooges. It ain't 3 Stooges, it's 2 Stooges.
Right.
I don't know what to say. I don't know. I mean, everyone is having this argument over who is more to blame, Brunette or Trotz, and they're having these, the more seasoned hardcore hockey fans are like making arguments for the front office, but then the other fans are making arguments that, well, the front office has to give the right players to the coach. It's the coach's job to coach those players. We'll get into that a little bit. And then also, again, I'm sorry to put you to this. You asked for this tonight, Matt.
I did.
You did. I wasn't going to put you through this punishment.
No, I asked for it.
Because I'm a nice guy. But Max asked that we could do a Titans Time segment tonight. So we'll do that.
Because some important news has happened since the last time we recorded.
And also, I mean, the Predators will not look that bad until the Titans move out of Nashville, because they are still the worst professional franchise running right now in this city. And really all we have to turn to, I think the apocalypse might be happening right now, because really all that we have to turn to in Nashville sports right now is number 10 nationally ranked Vanderbilt football,
who is hosting College Game Day this weekend.
Yes. And also projected, they kind of do their bracketology just like they do in March Madness with basketball now, because you have 12 teams in the college football playoff. And I thought that I had to I really thought I was dreaming. I'm a lifelong Vanderbilt fan for new listeners here, but the old listeners know this. They're probably sick of me talking about them, because we probably have a lot of Vols listeners who despise Vandy with everything in them. Bear with me. We're not going to talk about it for more than 30 seconds. But when I saw that on the screen, I thought I was hallucinating, that they had them. They were doing their little bracketology 12-team college football playoff, and you see Vanderbilt in there with the Blue Bloods of Georgia and Alabama and Oregon and a few other teams who aren't Blue Bloods, which is really fun for the parody of college football, like Indiana, BYU. So it's a lot of fun. Georgia Tech's in there. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm just enjoying the ride. And that's where I'm at as a lifelong Vandy fan. But let's keep this focus on hockey tonight. We are presented by DraftKings Pick 6. I'll tell you a little bit later about our current Pick 6 offer. If you're a new user of DraftKings, you got to jump on this promo we have for you. It's a lot of fun with Pick 6. A new DraftKings promotion here that you got have fun with the NFL football right now. So let's do our opening face-off, and let's do that game reaction real quick and get a little bit deeper, Max, into the Preds Ducks game. I think all of us felt pretty happy with how it opened,
Right.
but for me it was the back in the fourth. It was that does not bode well for this Predators team. And even though it was really exciting to watch as a fan, it was a lot of open ice. A lot of times when you watch some of these games, a lot of these games, especially early in the season, you see both teams kind of not taking a lot of chances. There's a lot of back and forth, cycling, puck clearing, dump and chase type of stuff. And it can be a little boring for the fan. And then finally, usually in the second period, it starts opening up. This game was open ice, back and forth. You better make sure both goaltenders are awake and ready to go. And I'm telling you right now, that's not the type of game the Predators want to find themselves in, much less against a team like the Ducks, who, no disrespect to the Ducks, but they are a bubble playoff team at best.
At best.
You definitely don't want to get into those types of games against the upper echelon teams, because even if you do manage to score 3 or 4 goals, they might hang 6 or 7 on you. So that's how this game kind of ended up unfolding. But Max, what did you see, man?
Yeah, I mean, the most alarming thing I saw is that the quality of play throughout the game got worse as it went on.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Even though we gave up the first goal of the game, I thought we were playing up already at that point. Then we get a goal, which was a beautiful play, really, between Justin Barron, Spencer Stastny, and Tyson Jost got the deflection in front. That was a great play, stuff we hadn't seen all year. Really pretty goal that was. And then the Ducks scored again to begin the second. And then pretty quickly, Forsberg ties the game. At that point, you're feeling pretty good. You're like, okay, it's tie. It's a pretty even game. If we can get more momentum. And up to that point in the game, Saros was playing pretty well. So you can, okay, like we got this. And then it just miscue after miscue. We gave a 2-on-1. The Ducks scored. And then there was a bad exchange between Saros and Brady Shea, who Brady Shea had a terrible night last night. He was awful. That happened. Ducks make it 4-2. And at that point, it just felt like any bit of momentum the Preds had was just gone. Like nothing happened. I think we only got 2 shots in the third period. I mean, I've rarely, I was at the game last night, and I don't think I've been at many games where I'm thinking, when is this going to end? Like I'm sitting there in the third period thinking, where's the clock at this point? Like, how close are we to getting to zeros?
And that's how I felt about it. Like, I felt like the Predators could not wait until this game was over with.
Yeah.
That's what I tweeted out. It was around 5 minutes left in the game, and I tweeted that out. I said, this team looks like they really want this game to end. And you saw a couple scrums there at the end. You saw Michael McCarron drop the gloves.
Yep.
You saw Ozzy Weisblatt.
Yep.
So you saw the frustration was boiling over. It was a really rough game to stomach. Yeah. It really was. There's Money Puck, one of my favorite.
Doesn't lie. Doesn't lie.
Their deserve to win meter. I'm not saying it's gospel and you have to always follow that, but that seems pretty accurate.
No, that's pretty indicative of what we saw last night.
So for our listeners who aren't watching on YouTube right now, Money Puck does their deserve to win meter, and it's basically, if you round up and down, it's a 73% deserve to win meter for the Ducks. And the way Money Puck does it is they do 1,000.
That's funny.
They do 1,000 game simulations based on the analytics and how everything happened. And so sometimes you'll see a team win and they will be lower than the deserve to win meter. But every now and then you'll see something like this where it's like, nah, it was pretty clear as day. But as Max was just saying here, it wasn't like that to open the game.
No.
And I'm not calling myself Nostradamus here, but I still did not like the back and forth. I didn't think that favored the Preds at all. It scared me a lot. And I was like, can they prove me wrong here? Can they actually win a track meet style of game tonight? I mean, I wasn't sure, but I didn't really like it. And it turns out that's kind of how it ended. And I mean, look, Saros has been really good for most of the for he's basically the reason why they won their only 2 games this year. And he's also the reason why they got their overtime points. I mean, they should have 3 regulation wins that they wet the bed, and that's being kind against Montreal.
And that's kind of where this whole thing turned, really. Because up until then, even the game against Toronto, we lose 7-4. I thought the effort that game was good. I had no
effort
issues. I didn't have an issue with that game and how we played. I'm going through those first 4 games thinking, like, that's the only regulation loss. I'm like, way we're playing right now, I feel okay. And then ever since that Montreal game, it's just been down the drain.
I didn't have an issue with that loss at all. I thought that game was just like, look, Toronto, it has legit Stanley Cup aspirations.
Yeah.
And if you're being a realist, and 99.9% of people in Nashville are realists in this scenario, the Predators are not even in the same universe of Stanley Cup aspirations. And so you lose 7-4 to Toronto, you're like, okay, let's move on to the next day. It's going to be okay. But when you drop a game like this back at home against Anaheim, the way they did, I thought the team looked very disengaged late in that game. Yeah. It was almost like when they fell behind 4-2, it was like, we're done.
It was done.
We want to go.
It was lifeless.
It was a very bad optics. And you're talking about you're in the third period still. We've seen plenty of teams in today's NHL.
The game is not over at that point.
But it did not look good on the optics.
It felt like it was 7-2 the way the Preds were playing in that third period.
And you bring up Brady Shea. He had a really bad day at the office. Really bad day. I joked about it on X, saying this is the equivalent of you're driving to work, you spill the coffee on your brand new white shirt that you just bought for the office. You get a fender bender on bumper to bumper traffic, and then you get to work, and then who knows what else happens. And then you're getting ready to leave to go home. And finally, your day's over, and your boss walks in and says, hey, I got this project I need you to work on. It needs to be done tomorrow. That's kind of what it felt like for Brady Shea's day at the office. And so, I mean, I don't know what to say. The dude had a bad night, and fans are coming at him hard right now. But luckily, he's got his fellow free agency acquisition, Steven Stamkos. I got something else on which we're about to get into. I got this. I'm always fascinated by these standings projections, and a lot of the big dogs do this. We don't really talk about Dom that much. We always bring up Jay Fresh. We talk about Money Puck and their playoff odds. For me, it's just always fascinating. And so I want to bring up Dom because he's a very, very popular one. He's one of the top 5 analytical models. And I got it on the screen here. And this is his updated points projections. And you see he's got Vegas at the top.
No surprise.
Colorado, Carolina, Edmonton, Winnipeg. Those are your top performers. It's kind of surprised he's got Tampa so high because Tampa has not looked great to open the season. But let me scroll all the way down to find the Predators. And this is sad to say, but they're actually higher than I thought they would be in his analytical model.
And is that 81.2 points he has him at?
He's got him 7 points. He's got him 7 point or 7. He's got him ahead of 7 other teams in the NHL, which surprised me.
I mean, 80 points is about what I predicted. We were on here, and I said
I predicted upper 80s, 85, 90. Their ceiling is what I predicted. 9, definitely not playoffs, but maybe still keeping us interested in February and March. Which could still happen. I mean, it's so early. Like we can't overreact one way or the other. But I'm just so Dom has his analytical model here for the Predators finishing at 35 wins, 36 losses, 10 overtime losses for an 81-point finish if you're rounding down. Some teams he has finishing worse than the Predators: the Flyers, Kraken, Penguins,
Who's starting
Bruins,
up good. Pittsburgh's starting out pretty well.
Yeah. Bruins, Flames, Blackhawks, Sharks. If I'm being realistic, I think the Kraken have a good chance to finish better than the Predators. I think people are way too down on the Bruins. I could see them finishing ahead of the Predators.
I think the Blackhawks might finish ahead of the Preds.
I don't know.
As much as I hate to say that, I think they might.
I'm telling you one thing right now, that this offense is in trouble. I've been saying this clearly, that they're averaging 3 expected goals or less per game. You can't get away with that in today's NHL.
No,
the goalies are too good. Even the backups are good enough to where if you're only producing 3 expected goals per game, I'm talking expected goals, you've always got to take into account that it's likely that any goalie is going to save their team an extra goal. It doesn't always happen. Goalies have bad days, but it's not sustainable is my point. Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's like goalie issue. I mean, the Preds can't even buy an opportunity. Like they even against Winnipeg the other night, they looked like they were pushing hard, trying to get zone. They were getting zone time and stuff, and they just can't get any. Like once they get into the zone, they can cycle around. They can't get good shots. They just can't.
And when they do get good chances, it's the same issues that have always happened under Andrew Brunette. They can't finish. Here's one thing I want to end on this opening face-off here and reacting to this Ducks game. You have serious problems, and this is no disrespect to the players I'm about to mention, but you have serious problems when your offensive producers who led your team in a particular game where you lost 5-2, no less, are Michael Bunting, Tyson Jost, Cole Smith, Michael McCarron. Those were your leaders in creating offense, according to Money Puck. And yes, Forsberg did score on a deflection, his 320th of his career. I'm not saying that doesn't matter. I'm just saying when you're talking about creating and generating scoring chances, those were your top 4 guys: Michael Bunting, Tyson Jost, Cole Smith, Michael McCarron.
And even
Go ahead.
Even on the goals that happened, like think about it. The guys who got points on the night: Justin Barron, Spencer Stasny, Tyson Jost, Roman Yossi. Yes, who's obviously a great player, but he's a defenseman still. And Philip Forsberg. Forsberg is your only high-end forward who made a difference really in any way last night. So they had to underscore your point.
I mean, and we don't even know if Tyson Jost is going to be on this team for the full season.
Right.
He seems like he's going to be one of the first sacrificial lambs to be waived once the fire sale happens, and they got to start calling up all these prospects to play once the white flag is waved. He's basically on a tryout right now. And then we all know Cole Smith and Michael McCarron, who they are and what they want. But when they're the ones that are creating most of your offense, you got serious problems.
No,
Michael Bunting, I mean, that second line was a major issue for me, honestly, when I was going into it. I mean, again, and it's going to segue us into the next segment, but when you have a second line of Michael Bunting, Eric Haula, and Steven Stamkos, it's no wonder I'm not making excuses. I'm about to elaborate on this. But no wonder Stamkos looks nothing like a Hall of Famer right now. I mean, let's consider what the Predators are throwing out there right now. I mean, Marchessault wasn't in the game,
right?
So that caused you to do this line blender thing some more. But, I mean, that is such a horrendous, all due respect, a horrendous second line that you're throwing out there if you're the Preds. I'm sorry, but it is.
Even the first
they're Bunting and Haula are bottom 6 guys, and they can be really good in those roles. They're NHL quality players, but they're journeymen at this point in their career. They're not skill players that need to be on your second line, but when you have nothing else to go for right now,
right?
I guess that they're kind of up against the wall. They got nothing else. And so that's why how much really can I blame Andrew Brunette? Isn't it the GM's
That's been my
job?
whole point. That's been like, I've been saying this since last year.
I mean, what do you want Andrew Brunette to do?
Right.
I mean, seriously.
And we'll get into this later, but like I have an opinion, and that's gonna be another topic, and I have an opinion on Andrew Brunette that's slightly changed. I'm saying I do think you should give him the whole season. And we'll get into that anyway. Like I do think he should be fired like this start of the season. No.
I don't think it solves anything really.
No, it doesn't.
It might solve your anger towards him if you're a fan. It might make you feel a little bit better.
Then you'll just be angry at the guy who takes over.
I mean, well, no, fans tend to not get mad at the interim head coach. The interim head coach just becomes
I don't know. I don't know about that. They'll get mad at anyone who's not leading this team well enough.
They would calm down long enough, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. So again, that's going to wrap up the game reaction. Not pretty.
Terrible.
But yeah, again, Preds lose 5-2. Just other stats. The shots were a little closer than you would expect in a 5-2 game. Yeah. It was 32-28 in favor of Anaheim.
Not terrible.
If we're looking at positives, I thought Spencer Stastny looked pretty good.
The Stastny-Barron pairing is looking not bad.
And I thought that, I like Ozzy Weisblatt when he's doing right now.
I do.
I mean, keep him in the lineup. There's no reason to take him out. You really don't have any options.
Put him in the top 6. Like, what do you have to lose?
But we also have to think about this. Waivers exempt guys are just waiting to get called up. Joakim Kimmel can easily get called back up. Zachary LaRue has not been called up yet. You got to think he's coming back up at some point.
Yes.
You've also got Matthew Wood, who's coming back from the injury. You got to think he's coming down the pipe. Right now, the Predators, even with Marchessault back in the lineup, only have 12 forwards. So you got to think they're going to get somebody extra in there.
They are so limited offensively. It's crazy.
It really is insane when you think about it. I was looking at it today, Max, and I could not. It really was just like, I couldn't believe how limited they are offensively. You said it perfect.
Limited. It's insane.
Let's get into more about Steven Stamkos. He's really starting to enter again that Matt Duchene, Kyle Turris territory where fans are so done with him. But it's not just the fans. And I am a guy who is, other than Saros, you could call Steven Stamkos my next player that I defend the most probably against a lot of the fan base. But even I have to admit right now, Max, that at best, it looks awkward. That's the word I think of. At best, it looks awkward. It looks forced. Let's use another term, forced. It looks like he is being held hostage out there. And they're like, hey, you got to go play for the Predators tonight. Get out there and show us what you're made of. And he's like, no, I don't want to. Like, it looks bad. He looks so frustrated. He looks not comfortable at all. And we're talking about a Hall of Famer who, yes, he's past his prime, but he's also still a Hall of Famer. And my basic overall view of this is he's got one job on this team, and it's to make their power play better. And the Predators have the worst power play in the league right now. They scored two power play goals in, I think it's, 23, 24 attempts. It's something like that.
Whatever it is.
I know their percentage is 8%, around 8% estimated.
Price even that high, to be honest.
But I know it's 2 power play goals, and Stamkos actually has one of those, and it was a pass shot.
Right.
Deflected in.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's...
And here's another thing I want to add on to that before I let you in here, Max, on this. Another thing that's really concerning about Stamkos, and it was also true last season, and I thought they were going to address it and they were going to fix it. The dude has no shot volume at all. I mean, he's got 14 shots on net through 7 games. That's averaging, you don't have to be a math wizard, that's 2 shots per game. A guy like Stamkos is averaging 2 shots on net per game for a team that's starved for offensive production. Are you kidding me? 2 shots on net per game. And he's also got 32 total shot attempts. 18 of those have missed the net, or in some way they have not found the goalie. 18 of 32. I mean, it's early in the season, so yes, you can fix it. You can, but I don't see how. I already mentioned like
last year.
I don't see how you're going to fix it unless, I mean, look, they haven't tried him at center at all this year, and I think that's your last resort. I mean, maybe he's played a little center.
It's not going to do anything.
I mean, maybe they put him at center within a game for like a quick shift, but I'm talking about they haven't started him at center and played sustained amount of time at center yet. I don't know, Max. What else are you going to do?
I like you said, I mean, I agree. It's kind of at the point of no return with him. Like you say, I'm sure, he'll never say it publicly, but I'm sure he, like you said, doesn't really want to be here. I mean, as far as the player himself, I mean, it's obvious he's declined. He can't drive play like he used to. He's not, especially at even strength, he's just not really an impact player. Let's call it what it is. And again, I know, before I say this, I know we are 7 games into the year. It is way too early to say anything.
Full disclaimer.
What do you say?
I'm saying full disclaimer because you know those people. There's going to be people out there who say we're overreacting.
Right. But again, just thinking ahead to next offseason, again, I know it's way early for that, but I was just thinking, I can't help but think about these things. And I was looking at, what it would look like to buy him out. It's not I don't think it's the worst idea at all, because you think about it, next year and the year after, you're going to save about $5 million per year doing so. Yeah, you're going to have the next 2 years after that on your cap space, but you can save some money in the meantime. You can not only do you free up a roster spot for potential more young guys to come in, but you get rid of this clearly awkward situation that is going on. And also, when you look at the Preds, like, again, the optics of this obviously going to look really bad, not just because he was a big signing who clearly is flopped, but because you got a bunch of other guys on your team who you bought out or retained salary, whatnot. But on that front, next year, you don't have Matthias Ekholm or Colton Sissons on the books anymore for retained salary. Matt Duchene's most expensive years are over after next year. He goes from a $6 million cap hit to not play here to a 1.5. So that's more cap space gain. Kyle Turris at that point is only going to have 2 years left. I mean, you got to, if it continues to go this way, I honestly don't see how that's not a good decision to just end it, to cut your losses and buy him out. I mean,
I'm so glad that you dove deep into this. I mean, you have really done your homework here tonight, Max. I appreciate you looking at the buyout scenario. I'm going to put it on the screen here from Puckpedia, just his contract situation. Year 2 of 4, $8 million cap hit.
And don't even entertain the idea of trading. No one's trading for him, so let's just not even discuss that.
Even if you retain salary.
Oh, no. Just, yeah, no.
So your only way out of this, you're saying, Max, is you got to buy him out.
Yes.
And how soon would you be willing to do that?
After this year.
Oh, so you're saying let year 2 play out.
Oh, yeah, not during the season. No, certainly not that. But I'm saying after the season's over, because at that point, you have 2 years left in the contract. So, I mean, you're kind of comparing to Matt Duchene's when he was bought out with 3 years left in his deal. So he gets 6 more years on the book from that point. Next year, if you buy him out, he'll have 2 more years on his contract. So 4 total years on the books. Again, I know this all sounds bad, but what's even worse is keeping him on your team for this much money when he's not producing and he's not happy, clearly, and it's just a bad situation. I mean, at some point, you've got to cut your losses.
I tend to think, though, Max, that there's always GMs out there who think that, hey, if you take half his salary, I've got a way better roster than you do. I'll take a Steven Stamkos and pluck him on my power play for the playoffs.
Maybe. I mean, you have to retain like the full 50% if even anyone bites on that.
That's what I'm saying. That's literally what I'm saying. I'm literally saying that the Preds would have to retain half of the salary to do it. But don't underestimate GMs out there who need power play help. And if you dangle that carrot out there of desperation, if Trotz were to do that, that's also on the table, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, if a GM could trade for him, then okay.
Because I'm telling you right now, all it takes is one GM to look at
Right.
Nashville's situation, just like we're looking at Nashville's situation, and say, that is a dumpster fire. And my situation is the Taj Mahal. I will welcome Steven Stamkos in here.
I mean, we certainly know a thing or two about players on our team going to different places and suddenly playing well again. But I mean,
yeah.
What you said is that, I mean, if we could make it happen in a vacuum, that's great. You do have to be mindful of, if you want to make potential.
I'm not condoning that either.
Now,
I'm not necessarily condoning that.
Now, if you want to make more trades on the deadline, you got to be a little careful, because if you trade a guy like Jonathan Marchessault down the line, you might have to retain some salary. If you can even get rid of Brady Shea at all, you have to retain salary on that, which that will happen for a while.
We're so stuck with Brady Shea that it's not even funny.
Right. But like point, all I'm trying to say, the only thing I can say to slightly push back on what you said is you got to be mindful of that. You only have 3 salary retention slots.
Oh, for sure. And that's a good point you bring up there. Absolutely. That's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up. It's just a difficult situation. I think that I don't see I'm not saying that Stamkos is going to be traded in year 2. I think this is a year 3 scenario.
Yeah, I don't think it happens. I think he's on the team for the rest of this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and they're going to have to work through it and figure out something.
Yeah.
And I mean, my whole thought was, even if he's past his prime, I was always kind of hoping that he could at least be a really solid mentor to the younger players who he's playing with. But I mean, right now, in this small sample size of the season, it doesn't look pretty at all. And that's why we're talking about it on here. And of course it can change. It can change quickly. We can revisit this segment a month from now and be like, we were crazy for talking about this.
And we'll be glad to be wrong about that if we are.
All we can talk about is what has happened. We can't predict the future, but what has happened does not look good at all. And Stamkos does not look happy at all. I mean, again, you got to get – once the power play – it sounds so simple, but it's not. If you can get the power play rolling, the power play looks so awful, and that's Stamkos' biggest attribute for this team. If you hook Barry Trotz to a lie detector before he signs Stamkos in 2024 summer and say, hey, Barry, do you still want to sign Stamkos even though your power play is going to be the worst in the league with Stamkos on your team? He'd probably say, nah, I'm good. I'll pass on Stamkos.
Right.
I mean, you've got Stamkos for that primary reason at this point in his career, and it's not working out at all. So if the power play starts cooking, it's probably going to be because Stamkos is finding his groove. I mean, that's just kind of how I see it. So we'll keep monitoring that. But I mean, right now it looks awful.
Terrible.
Let's tell you about DraftKings real quick, and then we'll get into Brady Martin, and then we will get into Titans time with Max. But let's tell you about DraftKings. Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite quarterbacks, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. So I'm going to pull up my DraftKings app now. Hit the Pick 6 tab. Super easy and simple. You go to NFL, which is our promo right now. And we're recording this on a Wednesday, so we'll look at the Thursday night game, which is the Chargers and the Vikings. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to tell you right now some of the odds that the Pick 6 app has for me. You got Justin Jefferson, the standout wide receiver, one of the best in the league. And right now the Pick 6 app has more or less set at 81.5 receiving yards, so you can choose that. You got Jordan Addison, another good wide receiver from Minnesota, 53.5 yards, more or less. So I just keep scrolling down here. They got all these players. Justin Herbert, more or less 18.5 rushing yards. I mean, there's so many choices. Carson Wentz, more or less 11.5 rushing yards. I mean, that's a low total, but I mean, the guy doesn't run very often. So the point is, that's how the DraftKings Pick 6 works. Super fun. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. This season, play your instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play just $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus, age and eligibility. Restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Let's get into Brady Shea, my golden boy.
You mean Brady Martin?
Yeah, Brady Shea. Brady Martin. Thank you. Because Brady Shea is not my golden.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Too many Brady's going on here. Thank you for that. Very good. That's why he's the best co-host ever. Right there, folks. Because he could have let me just keep going, and I probably wouldn't have noticed. And everyone listening to this podcast all around the world would have thought that Chad Mitten's golden boy was Brady Shea, and I can't live with that. So that's a good co-host right there, folks. Damn. Brady Martin. He's my golden boy. He's the 5th overall pick. And he got 3 games, all at home. I thought that it would have been kind of beneficial to see him on the road, but front office didn't see it that way. I thought we would have saw him maybe against Winnipeg. That was in the last episode.
Right.
In the last game reaction episode, I mentioned that I thought Brady Martin might get in against Winnipeg, but and that's where fans couldn't figure it out. Max already mentioned it early in this episode that they ran with 11 forwards in that game because Marchessault was out. It's like, right. What are we doing here? Here? So I don't know. I mean, look, I never thought that he was going to come in and light the world on fire. My motto was, what do you have to lose? Which is what another thing Max has already said in this episode. It's very, very valid. What do you have to lose? He did get his first NHL point. He got an assist on a Philip Forsberg goal against Utah. I've gotten some good responses on social media, on X, from a lot of people who know their stuff. I got a page that follows the Greyhounds, knows Brady Martin well. I'll try to find it on here to put it on the screen. But either way, they basically told me, like, look, Brady Martin was not drafted to come in and score a bunch of goals right out of the gate. He is a physical player. He's a smart player. He's the type of player who can play the game the right way, but he's not going to just come in and light the world on fire on offense. And I thought that was an interesting response, and I respect that response. And I think that's kind of what we saw in the 3-game sample size. He showed some good things, but when you're getting 10 to 12 minutes of ice time in an NHL game and as an 18-year-old, what kind of impact do you really expect to get? I think that's where I come down with it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I've been, when I see younger guys in the lineup who are obviously with promise, you think that, you're hoping that means that they're really far along, and that, you hope that they can stay here. With Brady Martin, I never really doubted his progress, but again, he is a rookie, and I always thought, okay, there's a good chance that this is not going to last, him being down here very long. And ultimately I was right. He's going back to the OHL now. Not surprising, and really not a knock on him. Like you said, he's what's he, 18 years old. Clearly he's not an NHL ready prospect. That's okay. We expected that. I mean, the biggest thing I'll say is that, not even really for Brady Martin, it's really like the front office / Andrew Brunette. It's weird the way they handle it, in my opinion. Like, it was the way I thought at first, maybe it was going to be like one of those things where it's like play 2 games rest. I was going to be fine with that. But then they didn't play him at all during the Canada trip. A little puzzling, why you have him there, especially when they played the 11 forward, 7 defensemen, and they bring him up last night. And what does he play? Like less than 10 minutes the whole game. So, I mean, clearly he didn't get much on the ice. Now, to play devil's advocate, experience is experience. And, just to, get him to know what, an NHL, team looks like, playing in games, traveling with the team, practice, having real, not training camp, real practices against the team, against the guys on the team. just get that experience under your belt so better what to do next time. That all makes sense to me. So again, I don't think it's totally egregious, but I mean it's just a little weird how they handled it just by sitting through the whole Canada trip.
So the interaction on X that I was just referring to, I got it on the screen now for YouTube and Facebook, but this happened right when the game was beginning too. This account on X, So Greyhounds updates. So they follow the Greyhounds in the OHL, Brady Martin's team. So I respect their opinion way more than I would even respect my own, because they actually watched Brady Martin develop way more than I've gotten to see Brady Martin. And so when I got this response, I was very, very in tune to this. And basically, the update says he's not NHL ready. We know it. He knows it. The fans know it. He hasn't dominated at the OHL level yet either. 70 points on a team that hardly made the playoffs. And then I responded, that's totally a fair and valid point that he's not NHL ready. But why was he a rated top 10 prospect if he didn't dominate at OHL level and needs another year there? Seems like a reach to make him top 10, like most scouts had him, if he didn't even master the junior level. And I appreciated this really. This is the response I really appreciated from the Greyhounds updates account. It says, because one, unlike any of the other top prospects, he plays the game, that being Martin, plays the game like a pro, physical, strong. And two, he's legit 18 years old, a child, putting him on this high of a pedestal and expecting McDavid results this early. I never expected McDavid results. Let's be clear about that. But still, I get what they're saying here. This early will only have a negative on his development. And to be fair, Misa, another big-time prospect in this past draft class who went to the Sharks, was an exceptional status player in the CHL who put up 130 points and has been healthy scratched as much as Brady. And so goes on here. If the Preds drafted Brady Martin to score a ton of goals, they drafted the wrong kid. So I just really appreciated that back and forth with the Greyhounds updates X account. And I actually sent them a DM inviting them to come on the podcast in the future. Hope they take me up on that as the season goes along. But anyway, so that I wanted to share that with the listeners here. But yeah, my thoughts on it is I still think the experience was very valuable for Brady Martin. You get that allotment of games before you burn that first year of the ELC. So again, what did you have to lose? I also think that I'm coming around to the fact that they're sending him back to the OHL early and they're not.
Yeah, it was clear that was the right choice.
I mean, there's no one with a gun to your head saying you have to play him the full amount of games you're allowed to play him.
Right.
I mean, so I get that part of it as well. And I think it's also a very clear message, maybe a message that they don't want to send, but it's a very clear message to me. The way I read it, Max, is even the front office realizes that the NHL level team right now, they won't come out and admit this, but the NHL level team right now is in disarray and it's a mess. And they don't want their 5th overall prospect involved in that right now. If this team had their house in order, if this team was showing really strong, good tendencies and trends, they would probably want to keep Brady Martin involved in that, would they not? But I think this is a strong signal that they're like, we got to get our 5th overall pick out of this. He's not benefiting from 10 to 12 minutes of ice time. And that's what Barry Trotz said. That was shared from the Preds official social media account today, that he wants Brady Martin to be possessing the puck more, to go dominate in the OHL for another year, and not be getting 10 to 12 minutes. That's a disservice to Brady Martin. And as much flack as Barry Trotz is getting right now, I did appreciate that response from the GM.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so now with that, let's get Titans time.
Before we get that, and I actually,
okay.
Contrary to what I told you earlier, I actually do have more time. Do you want to get into the whole Bruno Trotz blame game before Titans?
We had a 45-minute time limit, and we're already at 51. And all of our listeners know, maybe not all of them because they don't listen to our pregame talks, but we always go over the amount of time we say we're going to go. We always tell each other, we're going to go an hour tonight. Quick episode. Tonight, me and Max, it was a time crunch. It was a late agreement. Me and Max both work full-time jobs and stuff. So, this is a late agreement to get this episode out tonight. And shout out to Max for jumping on and doing this with me tonight. The live episodes are what we try to bring as many of them to you as we possibly can. But we always go over our time allotment. Go ahead, Max. Let's get into it. Bruno and Trotz blame game.
Yeah, so obviously, I've been one of the most staunch defenders of Andrew Brunette in this fan base. Even dating back to last year, I've been like, guys, he doesn't have a good roster to work with. Even with the whole, the free agency splurge last year, which we all at the time thought was good, including myself. But looking back on it, it's clear that, it wasn't really the great group of guys. It hasn't gone the way we wanted it to go. And even going into this year, it's still clearly a bad roster. I mean, like you said earlier in the episode, you can only expect Andrew Brunette to do so much with this team that's clearly so limited. I mean, no one expects the Preds to be good. My thing is, as far as the discussion of fire Andrew Brunette or not, I'm starting to come a little more around to it. I wouldn't say anything yet. I think you have to give him the full season. I'll say that. My thing is, my thing is, give him the season and let's see if the team, especially the young guys, show progress. If we get to the end of the year and we see guys like Luke Evangelista, Ozzy Weisblatt, even Joachim Kemmel if he gets in, Zachary LaRue, you see those guys like that making legit, Fedor Svechkov too. You see those guys making legit progress, then I'll still believe, okay, we can go somewhere with Andrew Brunette. But if you see them stagnant, then you kind of can justify making a change at that point, thinking, okay, clearly we've gone nowhere. Development has not happened with this coach. The team has not played well. And I quote tweeted this yesterday during the second intermission. It was on a post from Jeremy Gover, who basically said, when do we want to have the Andrew Brunette conversation? I basically said, okay, let's give him the full year to see what he can do with this roster. Clearly it's bad. And he didn't reply to me. He did reply to someone else asking about Trotz, and he said something about how he doesn't blame Trotz as much because he feels like he's given him weapons and assets to succeed. And I'm going to say I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I'm not trying to talk drunk about Gover, but that statement I really don't agree with. If you look at Trotz's tenure, number one, he hired Brunette, who a lot of people want fired, and who I'm starting to come a little more around to a little bit. But on top of that, he signed the 2024 free agency class, which has been a disaster. He also did things such as buying out Matt Duchene, which is a bad move, trading away Alexander Carrier for Justin Barron, which is still, even though Barron's got a little better, it's still not a good trade. He got rid of Dante Fabro for absolutely nothing. Overall asset management has been absolutely terrible under Trotz so far. And in Trotz has been on the job too. This is his third year on the job, and the roster overall has shown no improvement whatsoever. I don't see how
he looks lost. I mean, he looks.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but Barry Trotz comes off like he's playing NHL franchise mode on the
Xbox. And that was actually talked about last year, like how all the trades he made, like during the season, like people said it was like he was on a little tablet just clicking buttons and stuff. Like, I don't see how you can make the argument that Trotz has set up Bruno to succeed. I don't think he's. I totally disagree with that.
And it feels like kind of a little bit blasphemous to be so hard on Barry Trotz, the original head coach of this franchise. But I have always been very clear that I separate the head coach from the GM. Head coach, you can't touch Barry Trotz as a head coach. The dude is untouchable for what he did for this franchise, for where he took them as a head coach. I mean, what he did as a head coach with rosters that were blue collar and took them to the playoffs all those years. You know, a lot can be thanked for Pecorine for those, but also he brought the most out of his teams, and he has already proven that he is one of the great NHL head coaches. Won a Stanley Cup with the Capitals, did good things with the Islanders, you know, unquestionable. But we can separate that and then talk about how he has been as a front office general manager, and it has been
not good.
I mean, you would have to be kind to give him a D if we're grading.
Right.
Like maybe be fair and say, oh, we won't give him an F. We'll give him a D just to be nice. I think that's the best you can do. But when we're talking about the blame game, me personally, if we're going just Brunette and Trotz, and we're not talking about the player performance itself, we're just talking about Brunette and Trotz, I go 70-30 in blame. 70 to Trotz, 30 to
I might go a little. I mean, Trotz is the architect of this team. He hired Brunette, so that you have to count that too.
But Brunette also is in charge of getting these players to be in the right position.
I'm not saying Brunette's blameless.
And Brunette's apparently a power play guru, but I don't see that happening. Also, I don't see the players being super fired up to play for this guy either. That's I mean, there's blame on all ends, but if we're going who has the more heavy blame for the sake of this question here in this segment, it's Trotz for me as well.
No question about it.
But it's also way easier to get rid of a head coach than it is a GM.
And I'll end this second, at least for my part of it, by saying this. If you're to fire Andrew Brunette, that's fine. I'm not going to complain too much. You cannot justify keeping Trotz too. Like you cannot. I just think you cannot justify getting rid of Brunette and not Trotz.
Well, if that happens, then it's a clean house.
And that's what I happens.
That happens next offseason at the earliest. It's not going to happen during the season.
And that's why I also said, give Brunette the whole rest of the year. But if you get to that point where you want to fire Andrew Brunette, fire Trotz too. There's no reason to keep Trotz. The only outcome, I'll say this: if you fire Trotz and keep Brunette, that's a little more understandable to me, because at least Brunette and the two, not counting last year, before that, he's had a strong track record of coaching. I mean, he oversaw I know people like to say, oh, the 18-game win streak doesn't mean much. Yes, it does mean something at the end of the day. That was still a good year for Brunette. You have to give that to him. All to say, I think there's a chance you could go somewhere with Brunette and a different GM who puts a better team together. I think there's a chance. I wouldn't say necessarily a great chance, but I think there is a chance. But I do not see how you fire Brunette and keep Trotz and that gets you anywhere. That, I think, is a situation.
It's a very fair question to push back on people who just want Andrew Brunette fired so badly. It's a very fair counterpoint to give these people and say, how many NHL head coaches are winning a lot of games with this current?
No, nobody's winning with that. Nobody.
I mean, that's a very fair counterpoint to make to people. Right
yeah.
Now, so.
And segueing into Titans time, I learned from a certain head coach of the Titans
let's get into that.
Who just beat us this weekend that just because your coach has flaws does not mean he should be fired. And
Mike Vrabel.
Like my point with the Titans firing Mike Vrabel is if you do, I kind of see some parallels.
Did he call out the dogs? Did Mike Vrabel call out the dogs in that game because he felt kind of bad for his former team?
No, I don't think he did because during the game, the Patriots actually posted he was doing the Zombie Land celebration that Cam Ward does, which hurt.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy about that game is the Titans kind of like showed a little fight early in the game, and Cam Ward had a good touchdown pass and whatnot. But the Patriots are turning into be a really fun story to follow in the NFL as it is. But as for the Titans, Max, they fire Brian Callahan, which we saw it coming,
and that it truly needed to happen. Like that.
So can you kind of like follow up? What's the next plan ahead? What do you think about this interim head coach maybe? And also what else is there to how do you see the rest of this season playing out? Like, are they destined for the number 1 overall pick, or are there a couple other teams who are actually worse?
I mean, it's hard for me. I mean, I mainly just want to keep this to the Titans and knowing what I know about the Titans. I mean, there are some other teams in the league who are bad, but like, as far as it goes with the Titans, so obviously the Titans fired Brian Callahan 9 days ago now. And funny story about that. So obviously, I told you I was at the Titans game in Vegas when we played the Raiders. When we landed, we landed back in Nashville, like literally wheels down. I go back off airplane when I kind of get connection back to the outside world, go onto Twitter, and I see the news right then and there that Brian Callahan's fired. I kind of speak up pretty loudly to the guys who were on the trip with me, who were sitting a few rows up from me, saying, guys, Brian Callahan got fired. And I let the whole plane know. People are talking, because there's Titans fans on that plane. We're talking about it, which is pretty funny how it literally happened right when we got back from that trip.
That's a cool experience.
Yeah. But either way, unlike the situation with Andrew Burnett where you can play devil's advocate, there was no question with Brian Callahan. The guy had to go. I mean, even though Brian Callahan was dealing again with a roster that you're not going to win much with at all. It's really untalented, but just the mistakes he was making. And you want to talk about whether we question the Preds players playing for Brunette. We knew the Titans were not playing for Brian Callahan. I mean, it was obvious from obviously a few weeks ago we saw with Michael Pittman on the Colts saying that he saw during the pregame warmups we're not ready to play. Jeffrey Simmons. What do you say?
I heard can you correct this or not? I heard a rumor, and it could just be a rumor, that the Titans were out partying in a nightclub, TSU's homecoming or something, before a game. Maybe that was a Twitter rumor.
I didn't see that. I don't
know. I heard about it.
But like even then, like we saw the quote from Michael Pittman about how the Titans were just so drained during warmups in that game in week 3. Jeffrey Simmons, right after the game in Vegas, talks about how the Titans had a terrible week of practice. Cam Ward even elaborated on that, saying how he agreed with Jeffrey Simmons. And I can't help but think that was part of a reason why. There was a multitude of reasons why the Titans fired Brian Callahan, between those kind of things, his costly mistakes during games. He even outed himself. He literally didn't know a rule about how catches work during the week 1 game, which was really bad. Everything. It was clearly just an incompetently run team. And the Titans had to make that change. There was no two ways about it. It absolutely had to happen, as sad as it was. And I really was hoping Brian Callahan was going to work out. Like a lot of times, like when you would hear him talk to the media, not for game press conference, but just talking to the media about what his thoughts and what he's going to implement, you'd think he's a smart guy who knows football, all of that. But just when the bullets were flying on Sundays and all of that, having to juggle calling plays, managing the game from a situational standpoint, this and that, it was just clearly over his head. Couldn't do it. So sad to say, the guy had to go, and it happened 6 weeks into the year, which is about the right time to do it, I believe. And as far as the Mike McCoy, who was named the interim head coach, that's what I thought it was going to be. I think it's fine as an interim option. He's not going to be the long-term solution, but I think he's fine as a temporary Band-Aid. And as you said, the team looked, it was marginal, but the team still looked better. They came out with energy on Sunday. They looked like a team that was going to compete. Of course, it kind of went sideways in the second half, but it looked like a team that was there, that was playing was making plays too. Like even the playbook opened up a little more without Brian Callahan.
Good looking throw from Cam Ward.
But even that, like you're calling more play action, getting the pocket moving. Even the screen game looked better for God's sake. I mean, so much. I mean, again, I wouldn't say so much because again, I wouldn't say I feel like crazy better, but team, I feel a little better about. I'm at least intrigued to see what they can do in these next few games if they'll continue to open the playbook and all that. And again, at this point in the year, the win-loss record does not matter. Again,
it doesn't matter. Expectations are so rock bottom at this point that it's like you just want to see as much progress as you can possibly see within games. And even if that just means Cam Ward builds more confidence,
right?
Gets a couple good games under his belt. You see a little improvement here and there from – you just want to see improvements.
Right.
It doesn't have to mean that the team wins, but you want to see improvements. That's really where I'm at with it.
And like, that's all. I don't like. There are some people who want the team to just lose to get another draft pick. If that happens, fine. Again, I do not care one way or the other.
We don't have to worry about this team tanking because they're so bad as it is that they don't have to tank.
All to say, what I was going to say though is I don't care one way or the other. If you lose games, okay, at least. Or let me say it this way: you want to see, if nothing else, you want to see Cam Ward improving. If Cam Ward's improving and the team's losing games, okay, that's fine. You can say, okay, draft pick. If you're winning games and he's looking better, that's great. I don't care about the win-loss record one way or the other. I just want to see progress with the team. And that kind of segues into the next thing I was going to talk about with this Titans Time segment. People are out here saying, oh, maybe we need to have the Cam Ward conversation. Is he a bust, this and that? Guys, it's too early for that. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. And people are talking about, oh, this is shades of Levis last year. It's not, guys. Look, Cam Ward's biggest issues, they need to get better. Let's say like they absolutely have to get better. But his biggest issues are ball security, footwork / accuracy, and also I would say getting elevation on his passes. Those are all fixable problems. Will Levis's issues all boil down to pocket presence and decision-making, like actively making decisions. Like Cam Ward just losing the handle on the football, while it looks bad, is not Will Levis just throwing into triple coverage or whatever. Like this is, again, clearly fixable problems. And also, one thing I thought was funny was how all these people on Twitter, even media guys talking about this, Paul Kaharski decides to be kind of the adult in the room here, talking about how, guys, pump the brakes here. And he even brought up stats from the game on Sunday about how Cam Ward had his like best completion percentage of the year. Like, I gotta find exactly what it was. Give me 1 second.
Good old Paul Kaharski, man. He's
literally
Nashville media like legendary, whether you like him or not. That dude's been around a while. And he knows the Titans. He pushes the Titans. He's the one media guy who, he's not afraid to have that New York mentality where he pushes the team.
But he was saying on the season, Cam Ward's completion percentage from Sunday, 73.5%, best of the season. 255 yards, second best. 92.2 passer rating, best. 7.5 yards per attempt, best. He also pointed out how Drake May last year, at least turnover-wise, his stats were very comparable to Cam Ward's. So that was also good perspective. Zach Lyons, who's also is awesome, who works on 104.5 The Zone now, also has the the infamous F Words podcast, which is funny. He said on Sunday, Cam Ward, he had a plus 6.1% completion percentage over expected according to the pass chart, which was good. And also the stat that I think underscores everything I'm saying here. Cam Ward has 10 turnovers total this season. Total between not just interceptions and fumbles. How many of those plays do you think are actually labeled as turnover-worthy plays, Shad?
I mean, maybe a couple, but I mean, for the most part,
seven of those plays are labeled as turnover-worthy.
Yeah.
Point is, he's been extremely unlucky turnover-wise, and that is not just interceptions. That's interceptions. That's fumbles. You name it. That's everything. All to say, maybe Cam Ward will not eventually be the guy. But guys,
it's way too early. Yeah.
Pump the brakes a little here. That's all I'm saying.
Everyone just likes to get so overworked about it. Good stuff on Titans time here. Unfortunately, both of our professional franchises in Nashville, not counting Nashville SC, I guess. So we got soccer fans out there. They actually did win the first ever professional sports championship in Nashville history. I'm not a big soccer guy, but they won the something cup. I don't know.
Their games are fun, though.
They are fun.
They're real fun to go to.
And they got a good squad. So I don't want to say that they're the two major pro sports franchises.
Right.
And they're both in very similar dark times right now.
Yep.
That's why you got to come over to, hey, if you need a team and you don't have a college allegiance, come on over to the Vanderbilt Commodores. Have some fun.
I'll say
real quick, we're
Tennessee sports-wise, that Vandy Tennessee game shaping up to be a good game. And I might go to it, actually.
Dude, they're saying that it could work out to where that game is a elimination game to see who goes to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
And as much as I am a diehard Vandy fan, I wouldn't call myself a Vol hater, but yeah, maybe that would be fair. Either way, I do not like Vandy's chances if they got to win at Neyland because it's just Neyland. But I will say this Vandy team is built different. They're built in the trenches. Their offensive line is mowing people over. There's a reason why national college football analysts are falling in love with this Vandy team. They don't just do that for nothing. It's because this team is legit and they got playmakers.
No joke.
They do. They went toe-to-toe with Alabama. The only reason they lost to Alabama and this team is not undefeated right now is because the Heisman hopeful Diego Pavia, he fumbled and turned it over twice in the red zone. I mean, which is uncharacteristic of him. But that's the only blemish on Vandy's record right now is losing at Alabama. I think we can give them a pass on that one.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the SEC and the tough matchups keep coming. They host game day. Gosh, I wish I still lived in Nashville.
And I'm not a Vandy fan, but I'll be out of town this weekend of all weekends for this to happen.
I've only went to one game day. Have you ever been to a game day real quick, Max?
I've never actually been to a game day.
Like to the set.
I haven't been to the set, but I did several years back. I was at the Battle at Bristol, which was game day.
Oh, that's cool. So I've been to one game day. It was back in college. I went to Florida State, Miami. I think it was my senior year in college. I had two roommates who were diehard Miami Hurricanes fans. So we went down to Tallahassee to see top 10 Florida State take on Miami. They were both top 10. It was Jameis Winston's final year at Florida State.
Oh,
we were sitting about 15 rows up, corner end zone, and no joke, my buddy tells me to throw. We arrive in Tallahassee. We drove down there. My buddy tells me to throw on a Miami Hurricanes shirt to support the cause. I'm like, okay, fine. Throw it on. We get out of the car in Tallahassee near the stadium to go tailgate. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun's barely coming up. And I get a freaking middle finger as soon as I get out of the car. I'm like, dude, I'm just wearing this shirt to support. I'm not even a Miami fan. I'm getting middle fingers left and right.
Not surprised.
That was fun. Game day is super cool. Game day. I would be there for Vandy if I lived in Nashville still. But fun times. But anyway, that's our Nashville sports right now. That's our refuge is Vanderbilt football. What a time we live in. It's crazy. Anyway, all right. So the homestand continues for the Predators. They got 4 more games: Vancouver, LA, Dallas, and Tampa. I mean, it's never easy in the NHL, but this homestand feels like if you want to change the narrative, you better put some wins under your belt here at home, or the fans are really, really going to turn on you. And you're going to wish you're back on the road by the time this homestand ends.
Right.
So we'll see. It's a big early test moment for the Predators at home with this homestand. They got 4 more games left on it. This has been episode 281, live edition of Catfish on Ice with Chad Minton and Max Greenberg, brought to you by DraftKings Pick 6. Hit subscribe below if you've watched on YouTube. We appreciate it. Comment on the show. Follow us on X at Catfish Ice. Follow us on Facebook at Catfish Ice. We'd love to hear from the listeners. Until then, take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weeks and enjoy your weekends. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.
See you guys.